GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome, everybody. We are getting ready here. Just was farting around a little bit too late, probably on the last chat. Getting everything situated, climbing underneath a bunch of blankets here. My dog has no interest in coming out here to make me warmer. All right, I think we're good to go. So what we're looking at here is the screen share of the video that you're watching. And we're going to go over, well, let's put a poll out there since we're sitting here. How was this week for 2A? Question mark. Great week for 2A. Let's see, it was A. How about that? It was okay for 2A. Then we got, this was a bad week for 2A. A bad week? No, just a bad week. Or come on. What happened? That's censorship. Ever. All right, so now you can decide how good of a week it was for 2A in the description of the video that we're looking at, and we'll continue to use the description of this video for this whole show. That's what we're about to do right now. Mainly because I didn't go put it over our Patreon yet, but I will, and it'll look better over there because you can do better formatting on Patreon than you can over on stupid YouTube. All right, so this is a interactive conversation. We don't just go live in order to fluff the things that can be fluffed. So thanks to the people that show up live. Kojo was first one to jump in, doing some kind of a 2A looking thing. Oh, I see what's going on. 2A, get it? And then there's DJ out there also noticing the thing that was being done. We're simulcasting on 2 channels today, the Daily Gun Show channel and this channel. And then we got Weston showing up, also over at the other chat earlier. Wesley being counted, and then Tactical FUD. Good evening. So if anybody else is out there, you're basically hidden because you're not being participatory. All right, so next up, we'll dig into the description of this video, which is a list of all the things that were good this week in Second Amendment focused content being created on at least the YouTube platform. Once we have this poll run for a little while, we'll see what people think. And if we have another poll, we will decide if we're going to do Instagrams tonight. Quite a bit of things happened on Instagram. It might be too much for everybody. All right, so let's dig into the description of this video, which is effectively the show that we're doing tonight. So the first thing that comes up is Locked and Loaded Latinos. Some of my favorite Second Amendment content each week comes from Florida. Hold on, what happened? Ugh, come on, what's happening here? I am attempting. Come on. Trying to put this one blanket on my head and it keeps falling off. So got to wait for a minute here. All right. Does that scrape against the microphone when I got this blanket over my head? This is a very, very fluffy blanket, so it's quite warm actually. All right. I'm going to take a second here. All right, so let's see. So we've got Locked and Loaded Latinos who do a pretty awesome show. This week it was on Saturday instead of Sunday because of traveling, but whatever. So episode 77, they were talking about the ATF, uh, the results of the ATF comment periods on receivers and races. Then they also talked about the truckers up in Canada and some other topics. Good show. Let's see. Then we've got Jared talking about some smart gun stuff that was pretty goofy, and somebody who had taken this smart gun that uses a wristwatch and manipulated it and shown that it's effectively useless technology. And that was interesting. However, there's a different smart gun that showed up at SHOT Show, and well, we'll see what happens with that or not. Let's see. So then we've got Brooke every Saturday has an effort for suicide prevention awareness. And this week, last week, whatever, she decided to play some Tony Robbins stuff. So Tony Robbins is a public speaker and like a coach, I guess, maybe like a life coach, I think he'd call himself, and definitely copyrighted. So she ended up figuring out what it's like. She got a little taste of YouTube copyright on a live stream. So when you copyright something directly on a live stream, YouTube will allow it for a moment, and then as soon as it recognizes it, it starts to yell at you. Little robots come up and tell you to quit it. She must have ignored that or not seen it, because then she got to the point where they shut off her stream for a while. And they'll shut off your stream until you quit broadcasting the copyrighted portion, and then they let your stream go back on. So that's what she experienced, and I don't know if she understood it 100% because she didn't know that was the thing and that it was happening. I think on the Facebook side they could care less, so it didn't disrupt the stream on that side. So anyway, then she went on to have the rest of her show, which is always a good show. She offers an awareness, a focus on suicide prevention. Of course, remembering that 2 out of every 3 deaths that have anything to do with any kind of firearm in this country are suicides. So if we effectively, or if we want to truly be effective at reducing deaths, then we should be focused at the thing that is 2 out of 3 deaths, right? And in this case, suicide, and you can effort towards giving people care or offering assistance with suicide in ways that have nothing to do with our property. So it's an excellent effort that she's working on over there, and every Saturday she puts more bricks on the wall over there. Let's see, this week, am I wrong that she's going to have Mike Sedini on? I think she does have someone. She might have somebody on, and then she has a special show, I think. So Brooke is definitely doing some extra stuff on this project, and always a pleasure to see it being done. All right, next up we get this Why I Was Wrong About Guns, Awaken with JP. So he's some kind of comedian skit person who makes like little skits, little jokey skits on the internet, on YouTube. Not my flavor, but I've seen him before, and he's anti-gun. Now he's not anti-gun. He used to be anti-gun, and now he's not anti-gun. And he made this video. Let's go see how many views it has. So this video has 787,000 views. The dude has 2.24 million subscribers. And I believe it's an effort, an honest effort at changing his mind and offering opinions to those folks who are watching him as to why. I've seen it because a Clover posted it, so I don't know if anybody else has seen that thing and what your opinions would be on it, but 700,000 people watching a guy change his mind about guns. Next up is Gun Owners of America, amongst others, started complaining about the billion guns that are technically registered or whatever. But they're not really registered. It's just a paperwork snafu that they accidentally scanned in a billion records and have optically available information about only, like a billion firearms transactions. So we're just focusing on news of the day. In other shows, we'll be rallying against that, because that's something that should not just be observed. That's something that's catastrophic, and one reason that we're actually watching the end of all gun control at this point. So people who are reporting on it and observing it may not recognize that we're watching the end of gun control, but people that are paying attention are realizing that we're watching the end of all gun control. Let's see. Why go anywhere else? Gun for Hire Locker, Gun for Hire 22, Gun for Hire / Glock. So Gun for Hire is a range in New Jersey, or it's pronounced New Jersey. And they've helped out Tony Simon in the past and other people. And they are interesting, right? They definitely have a flavor and a style. So some people are going to dig it and some people are not going to dig it. And I go back and forth. Right now I'm subscribed to their YouTube channel, and they are expanding their facility. It was always been an indoor range in New Jersey, but it's now grown larger. It's absorbed the property next door. They built a new building on that property and now have indoor ranges, an indoor gun shop, and other things, including lockers and a 22 match and a new Glock match. And that's what this video is kind of announcing. Oh, there's Tony right there. We are working on dates for the 2A, 4E, which is Second Amendment is for everyone, diversity shoots at the Gun for Hire range in Woodland Park, New Jersey. Right on. So, yeah, so they have a couple of different campaigns, I guess, whatever you want to say, like initiatives. One of them is their lockers. So I'm guessing that's storage lockers for people that have issues with, however guns are dealt with back then, or over there, I should say. And then the 22 match, which I don't think is Tony's 22 match, because I'm pretty sure they're different, but I know Tony's talked about a 22 match. And then the Glock match, which I believe is not the GSSF match, but just a Glock match that they're going to be doing. So you could roll your eyes and go, I don't care because of blah, blah, blah. Or you could realize that that's like within a stone's throw of New York City in New Jersey. So pretty cool to see people continuing to exercise their freedom and work towards more ability to exercise their individual rights, and do so right next to, adjacent, so to speak, a city that doesn't sleep on keeping our gun laws horrible, right? Gun for Hire range will eventually become the largest indoor range in the United States. Interesting. Well, I don't know. We'll have to talk about that more, because let's go take a look. Why I say that? Because there are a lot of indoor ranges that are pretty awesome. So let's go over to Gun Shop Guide, which is where I have to update a database real quick, and then we can jump over here and look at some shooting ranges. And what kind of information do we got about the shooting ranges? Do I got any kind of data over here? Dang it. No, I don't. So where am I going to get some quick data on shooting ranges? Let's go to Minuteman, I guess, and see what I got over at Minuteman. So over here on the being part of the gun owning industry, we've got shooting ranges, and that might be what I was looking for. So we got outdoor shooting ranges and we got indoor shooting ranges. So on those indoor shooting ranges, let's talk about Gun for Hire. So Gun for Hire right now is at 56,000 square feet. I believe that's the new building. I drew a cartoon of the new building right here. And then here's the thing, Tony. We've got Colonial, which is in Virginia, at just about the same size, 60,000. Then you get into Gundry of Maryland. That opened in 2019, and it's on a factor bigger, 64,000 square feet. Then in Florida, you got Shooter's World at 74,000 square feet. So that's like half again bigger. But, and I'm not even talking a little but, I'm talking about all the smoked butt in Oklahoma. But you got H&H Shooting Sports, which is in Oklahoma. It's in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. 90,000 square feet. What? Yeah, 90,000 1,000 square feet. That's twice the size of them. So what we're going to do is get into Google Maps, and we're going to zoom out at Tucson. We're going to drive across New Mexico and into Oklahoma City. And let's just drop down onto Oklahoma City for shits and giggles. Let's just drop down onto Oklahoma City. It's no big deal. So Oklahoma City, here's 40. And just for doing it, I'm going to flip to satellite view. Let's flip to satellite view. And we're just driving down, looking around. We're in Oklahoma City, and we're driving through Oklahoma City. No big deal. And as we're driving, we're going to see this giant building from space. You see what I'm saying? From space, you come down and you look at the big buildings in Oklahoma City, and this giant building in Oklahoma City is H&H Shooting Sports. It's all closed right now, but this is how big it is. So let's go down to here. Let's just jump down on the highway. No big deal. Let's just jump down on the highway real quick. And let's look at just how big H&H Shooting Sports really is. Are you kidding me? So it goes from somewhere over here, probably where those signs are, they're red, white, and blue, all the way, all the way to here. You literally have to drive down the highway to drive past how long this store is. And this is because they got like 26 shooting ranges in there or something. It's a lot. So you still got to keep going. So you got to go all the way down to here. And this is where the place starts. And then you got to go all the way down there. And that's how big H&H is. So Oklahoma owns the indoor shooting ranges. Now, if you get to Florida, it gets a little crazy because that includes a whole bunch of them. So it's kind of fake. And if you get to outdoor ones, you know, it's a whole different situation. But because now you're talking acres. But all that being said, that was just an excuse to go look around at a bunch of gun shops or gun ranges. But gun for hire is pretty awesome. And none of these other ranges are in New Jersey. None of them are where stone's throw from freaking New York. Look at where all the rest of these things are. Oklahoma, big deal. Florida, big deal. Maryland, all right, Maryland's close. Virginia, you know, all right, but big deal. New Jersey, right? Ohio, big deal. Nothing happens in Ohio. Nobody cares about Ohio. Texas, big deal. Nobody cares at all about Texas. Rhode Island, well, that's a big deal because that's actually a pretty big place in the middle of Rhode Island. Texas, Nevada, and Colorado, again, they don't count because they are in free states that nobody cares about. Boom. Shooting ranges. Want to look at some shooting ranges? There's one place to look at them, and then the other place to look at them. I already closed, so you can't look at it. All right, so, but thanks, Tony, for jumping in. And Tony's doing awesome stuff. Gun for Hire is a resource for Tony to be able to do awesome stuff. So that makes Gun for Hire good by default. All right, then we get to the overnight, which is, it's 20 minutes from DC. Well, I would consider that a stone's throw. I can throw a stone pretty far. Let's see. Then we got Biker Bob out there. Been wondering what's going on with Bob. Good evening. I almost did a band chat the other night. Almost. H&H. Oh, yeah. Definitely go to H&H. Definitely worth it. Let's see. And there's a lot of stuff in there, too. Not just the ranges. Got a restaurant, all kinds of guns, safes, other stuff. All right, so next to overnight, Faas does a show on Saturdays overnight. This week, it was about vehicle preps, and then it went off topic a bunch. I think it was actually a pretty long show, so it was pretty decent. I was working on stuff and listening. Then I ended up staying up too late, early, whatever you want to call it, and then ended up sleeping most of the rest of the afternoon that day because of that. It's not his fault, but whatever. Let's see. Now we get the Winchester or the Williams Family Museum. So if you're not familiar, gun museums are better than regular museums. And there's a new gun museum in northern Nevada. It's called the Williams Family Museum, and there's only 90 subscribers on their YouTube channel. So you could be one of the first 100 subscribers to their channel. And they had a couple of videos up since SHOT Show. First one here was called the Henry Repeater, but then this other one is about these Winchester models. And most people don't know nothing about the Winchester models because they just don't know about them. So this is a pretty decent walkthrough of those 3 Winchesters and the differences and the reasons that they progressed, why they just kept putting new calibers in them. But he explains, the whys and the hows of that. The Henry Repeater was the first of the Winchesters, technically. I guess you could say like the Volcanic turned into the Henry, and then the Henry turned into the rest of Winchesters. So that was a better one to watch first. And yeah, can't wait. Definitely looking forward to more from the Williams Family Museum. And they alluded to having some ammo videos coming, so I'm definitely looking forward to the ammo videos. I think it's amazing he's documenting his video collection and preserving it for his grandkids. Yeah, exactly. Well, he's doing it for his grandkids and everybody else, so it's freaking awesome. It is really, really one of the coolest projects I've seen in a long, long time. And if every once in a while I think YouTube sucks and it's stupid and it's worthless because everybody's using it wrong, and then something like the Williams Family Museum project comes along, and I'm like, nope, people are using it right. Well, let's see. So then comes Saturday, and that'll be tomorrow. And this was also last Saturday. So we answer questions. If you want to ask questions, feel free. Now people are sending them to me in emails because they don't understand the assignment here. But there's a website called Ask Gun Questions. You can go ask questions over there and then bringing people together to answer them. Eventually, we'll have some store owners, some gun shop owners onto the show, and that should add another level of interesting to it. Let's see. Then we had the Moo BQ, which is barbecues chat that he has with Moo on Saturdays, where they talk about barbecues. And last week was the first week that they talked about weight loss and losing weight and being healthy. And I thought that was pretty awesome. Too often, folks think, I'll worry about that some other time, or I won't talk about that with my friends or whatever, which is bullshit, because why not? Friends might have insight. If they're similar body types, then they may have intel that you could use. And if they don't, then at least you can learn what doesn't work. But if you're going to sit around encouraging your friends to buy garbage and stupid crap and encourage them that grip angles mean more than they do, then why not encourage them to be healthier and live longer? We're better off with all of us around longer. And that's awesome for barbecue to be spending some time doing that when it wasn't like cheered for. That was awesome. So very stoked to see people putting effort into something that matters besides just the bullshit sweet and sour sauces that are out there usually. Let's see. Then we got the Pot of Gold auction. I guess let's see what's happening over here. The 73 is the greatest of Winchesters, but I love the 76 personally a bit more. The Henry is great too, and I love the history of its use during the Civil War. See, that's the thing. I don't know. I think you can have a different opinion of the different Winchesters for sure, based on what caliber or whatever, but it's sort of like for a job, right? Like if I want to do something over here, I'm going to want one of them, and if I want to do something over there, I'm going to do something else or want a different one. Because they're not dissimilar, right? They're all basically bigger and smaller versions of each other. So there's very few times I'm going to want one of the big ones. But anyway, that's why I see the Winchesters. But I'm, I don't know which one I like, honestly. Because I kind of like the old ones, but I don't know. I like the modern calibers more, I think. All right, so then we get to, the Pot of Gold auction. So that actually was pretty awesome. I'm going to probably dig in and do another look at that auction because it was so good. And I totally got swiped by the 44 pump. I had no idea that one was coming. I'm so glad we got to watch it bid up. But I would have had no concept that was going to be like a $3,000 gun or whatever it was. Like that was crazy. And that was a lot of fun. So I'm definitely going to be taking another look at the upcoming auctions and will get up to Phoenix for sure on the 19th, and I'll see if I can't arrange it to get over there, and let's see whatever's coming up. But we'll definitely going to try to arrange. Well, I'm going to try to arrange, if possible, to get up there and preview some of this stuff already, because I definitely would have liked to have seen that pump action 44 before it got sold to whoever it got sold to. Let's see. Then we got Liberty Watch. I was over on Liberty Watch on Sunday. Charles had me on. Charles helped me get up to SHOT Show, which was awesome. Kind of helped cover the show for his radio show. Then he had me on the radio show to do that. So that was pretty freaking cool. I haven't been over there in a while, and the radio station is getting more and more like a spaceship all the time. And for anybody that was watching live, you got to see the deal, and then the after show, sort of, me and Charles hanging out and bullshitting a little bit. And then I went off air. So all of that is up for Patreons only, mainly because I just don't want to leave it live. So if you're a Patreon, you got a link to it over there on the Patreon. Otherwise, you probably don't care what I'm doing on Liberty Watch or what Charles has in his bug out bag, right? Let's see. So then I posted a couple of videos about SHOT Show. It's a couple of them that are up already. I think there's something like 20 coming. So those are all scheduled and posted at this point. They'll be coming out. 2 of them every Thursday for a while. None of them are more than a couple of minutes. I guess there's a couple that are 20 minutes long, but most of them are less than 5 minutes long. So they won't be very long, but there'll be things that are more interesting than pretty much anybody else was looking at, because I don't look at garbage at SHOT Show. I look at the interesting stuff. Let's see. Then we've got a Medusa video Rib has been watching. I posted a link to that, and Medusa video from 1993 when Johnny Rollins took the Johnny Rollins shooting show to SHOT Show 1993 and interviewed Phillips and Rogers about that Medusa revolver. Very, very cool. I never won at Sharps. What? Sin City Outdoors YouTube channel has a video about. That's how I think I found it too, from their original video. But then as soon as that video came out, they started doing their own videos, and that's, I quit watching that other channel, which I never seen before, and then started watching the Williams family themselves. All right, well, with that, we're done with everything. That was everything I looked at this week, and let's see what we got for votes. So there's only 9 votes, 6 people watching, so somehow that's fake. 2 people saying that it's a bad week for 2A. You're wrong. It's a great week for 2A. Pretty much gun control is over, and it's pretty obvious. So we're done with gun control. It's just a matter of sweeping it all up and cementing the deal. So I guess we'll watch a bunch of people cry and complain because they, will want to insist on continuing to make money with the whole fake gun control fight. But it's over. And at this point, I think we could give it a death choke it out, and just be done with it, put it to rest, and move on. I say let's get rid of the NFA first, and then the consequences of that will be many and exciting and long. Like, it'll take a while to fully understand what it's like in a world post, NFA, once the NFA has been removed. So for the people that said it was a bad week for 2A, you're wrong. People that said it was the worst week don't exist, because that would have been completely wrong. Okay is also wrong, because it was a pretty good week. Good stuff happened, and nothing really bad happened. So we are good to go. I guess I'll end that, and I don't know. I've been chatting for a long time, so I could end this right now. We'll do a quick poll, and we'll see if we're going to do Instagram. Otherwise, I'll end it, and we'll do something else. Or I'll just stop talking, basically. So is this thing ever going to give me a chance to re-poll? Come on, you going to let me re-poll here? Let me just real quick, drop a result of that poll in here real quick, and then we'll go back out here real quick, Should we examine the IG. Boom. We'll take the first 5 votes. We'll determine whether or not we go over to the Instagrams. Once the YouTube censorship comes up, we'll see what kind of results we get. All right, so while we're waiting for votes, no votes yet at this point. 1 vote at this point. While we're waiting for those votes, take another look. Looks like we had the Locked and Loaded talking about what's happening with the ATF. That's super critical, and that should be the only thing the national level organizations are talking about. At least they should be talking about that first and foremost for the next few months. Again, gun control is over. It's now time for the adults to clean it all up. And the beginning of that is going to be removing any semblance of removing any last residue of the ATF. And that begins with the receivers and braces. Why not? NRA testing of Biden's smart gun, waste of time, don't even bother. Suicide prevention, always important. And even when gun control is over, we'll still have suicide. So it'll be to everyone's best, well, not the best, but it's everyone's benefit to focus on how to get rid of that. This Awaken with JP, 700,000 views watching somebody change their mind about guns. Do you think that was more people who are gun owners watching it and stroking off, or was it a bunch of anti-gunners watching it and stroking off out of fear? All right, next up, we'll go over to Instagram, I guess. We said the first 5 votes would determine it, and it looks like the first five votes are unanimous that we should examine the Instagrams. All right, so we're going over to Instagrams based on your interaction with the show. If you didn't interact with the show, then you shouldn't even be watching this part. All right, next up is going to Instagram, and I always like to recommend how you can use Instagram so that you're not some kind of doofus who doesn't even know how to use Instagram good. So here's a picture of a cat. Cats aren't as good as dogs, so we'll give it a like. Oops. We'll give it a like, and we'll move on because they're just cats, they're not dogs. This is HK, making fun of poor people. We'll give it a like because it's Faas, but we'll move on. This is How I Carry. She makes videos on TikTok, videos for girls or whatever, and she makes fun of something or whatever, so we'll go like that. Then we got Gabby. Gabby Franco is awesome, so we'll use Gabby as the example. So you can go with a heart if you love the picture. Then you can say stuff about it and go, what does this say? This common mistake, shooters, I'll just say thanks. And that's like virtue signaling. Now everybody knows that I think so much about Gabby that I wrote thanks on her stuff, right? So that's the second best thing you can do. Then you can take this paper airplane, and if I was on a phone, it would shove it to my circles. And that would be the next best thing you can do. And then the best thing you can do is use this little dealie, cram it into one of your collections, and now it's in one of your collections. So you can like it, you can kind of like it, you can like it, and you can like it. Right? So now you know how to use Instagram like a real person and not a chump. So now you go over here to your channel, my channel. We're going to click on saved, and these are where all the ones go that we just saved. There's Gabby's, right? And now we'll dig down into here and find when the last time I was looking at one of these was, which I don't know when that was. I think I remember this one. So, I definitely remember that one. So we'll start with this barrel. What does this say? January 25th. Ew, January 25th would have been a while ago. So anyway, that's a Polish 5.56 AK. They're pretty neat. Back in the day, no one knew what they were. So this is autoloader or moon food, some kind of little Wonder 9. He can't get enough of the Wonder 9s. I guess it's snowing over there. This would be a nice one to make a cartoon of. It's kind of interesting looking. So you got the Paige Gunsmith School. Big fan of Gunsmith schools, and a couple of them use Instagram to let people know what's happening and whatnot. And the Paige Gunsmith School is letting others know that Saturday the 5th of February through the 13th of February, it's a very long show, is the Great American Outdoor Show in Pennsylvania. I got hiccups now. And that they're going to be at that show, I'm guessing. So it's Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, from February 13th through February 5th through the 13th. So that means you could be going this weekend, starting tomorrow, all the way through the Sunday after next. So it's a long show. Let's see. Next up is the J.M. Davis Museum, which is one of the best museums ever, has an annual BB gun day. And that day is February 26th, and it's from 10 to 3. Kids can show up who are 18 and under. They get to shoot for free. There's 12 and under, and then there's 13 to 18. So that you got some skills, separated by probably how good they are at shooting. Then the winner receives a customized BB gun from Daisy. Adults shoot for $3, and the adult winner receives a customized BB gun from Daisy. So now kids can shoot for nothing. Adults can shoot for $3, and then you win a Daisy. Are you kidding me? All funds go to the J.M. Davis Museum. So give them more than $3, you cheap bastards, and then bring your favorite BB guns. And that's pretty neat. So can't wait to get to the Daisy Museum. If you're not been there before, just it's a couple hours away from the Claremore where the J.M. Davis Museum is. Definitely next time I get out to travel, I'll be hitting that Daisy Museum. This has nothing to do with the Daisy Museum. This is at the J.M. Davis Museum, but it is a Daisy BB gun day, and that's February 26th in just outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Next up is California Restoration of Gun Rights, Proposition 64, Marijuana Expungement. So this one is from our friend S.A. Hinchcliffe from Washington State, right? And looks like in November of 16, California voters passed Proposition 64, which was the Marijuana Act, legalized possession of small amounts of marijuana and reduced marijuana crimes from felonies to misdemeanor and others from misdemeanors to infractions. Plus, it gives grounds to reduce or dismiss prior marijuana convictions. If your only felony conviction, blah, 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 is a misdemeanor, that means can probably restore your gun rights. So that's interesting. So not just removing people from the felon records, but extra benefit of that is that they get their gun rights back, and that's super cool. So now people aren't being a burden to the state and can continue on with their life as free individuals. Let's see. Now we get AZ Firearms. They had a whole bunch of these Auto 5s, and this was the only thing that they posted. But it was an interesting looking sample, I guess, of the A5s that they had at the auction. Reposted that. Look at this. This is a similar breakdown to what I mentioned earlier with the Gabby post. So this one is from Warrior Dog Foundation, an organization that takes care of retired service dogs, gives them homes, oftentimes with their handlers if it's possible, but otherwise with people that can handle them, and gives our service dogs who used to not be able to come home a place to come home to and retire to. So Warrior Dog Foundation is pretty awesome. It's also, well, anyway, so we'll take a look at what they're suggesting here, that if you click the little hearty thing, it costs you nothing. You click the little wordy thing and say something to them, gives them motivation. Click the little paper airplane thingy, and it introduces others to the page. Remember, that's what shoves it up into your circles. And then this little other thing says helps with engagement. And I don't know about all that, but it's the one that nobody uses, and that's the one that the system appreciates the most. So the one that is the most useful for the system. I was looking at this one the other day. This is a little graphic that explains how the NFA has existed since 1934. But if you look at this, this is just the last 10 years. Nearly 2.4 million suppressors, which is 89% of all suppressors, a vast majority of all the suppressors that have ever been registered, in other words, the vast majority of suppressors that have ever existed, have been registered in the last 10 years, and at a ratio, at a speed that is incredible, exponential to some extent. Why is this taking so long? Come on. Come on. Why is this taking so long? Come on. Seriously? Seriously? You're going to take that long? You're going to take that long? Stupid. Come on. I'll refresh it then. If you're going to make me refresh it, stupid. Oh, it's still going to be a jerk about it. All right. All right. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. We got to go over here.
Oh, I know what it is.
And kill it over here by Bob. And there we go.
I'm smaller and less equipped for violence, and a firearm is a great equalizer. If you've saved yourself or de-escalated an attack by using your firearm, share your story. Gun control groups like Everytown and Moms Demand are marking this week as #GB Survivors Week. GB stands for gun violence. The DC Project condemns all forms of violence, and we recognize the victims of violence that have saved their lives because they had a firearm. Truth is, gun control groups demonize guns and gun owners and focus on the tool rather than the root of violence itself or the victims. The DC Project believes education is the key to saving lives, not legislation. We believe every human has the right to defend themselves from all forms of violence. As a woman, I'm smaller and less equipped for violence, and a firearm is a great equalizer. If you've saved yourself or de-escalated an attack by using your firearm, share your story with the DC Project. Share your story with the world and use their hashtag, as well as #GunRightsAreHumanRights. Join or support the DC Project at dcproject.info.
Pretty good, except they went to 101 second. They could have done it at 1 minute and then had it as a YouTube short also, but still decent. And gives a point of view, gives the facts to back it up, and a position, right? The point of view, and then like the facts to justify their position. So great job. And Diana's doing excellent job, I think, representing that organization. So let's see, we got Kolianor again posting a thing, ATF has a database detailing over 900 million gun sales by Americans. If it doesn't already violate existing law, it dances close to the edge of legality. So, this ain't my style, but it's, again, somebody who's got a massive audience and is paying attention to something that is going to be overlooked by most. And again, we can either look at these things as news bits, headlines, or as notches in a constricting belt. And they're notches in a constricting belt. Let's get rid of the NFA already. So yeah, the ATF is running ruckshot and without any kind of leadership. So it's time to have the executive branch be rallied in by the Congress, by the House. I'm trying to say by the legislative branch. All right, so then we get California gun and ammo tax failed to pass the assembly before a crucial deadline that has been defeated for the year. So it's frustrating at best to keep up from afar with whatever's going on in California, but it is good to see when there's a victory, or what the FPC would consider a victory, I guess. So now we've got Cheryl Todd, who went to Phoenix to speak for a bill that has to do with the sentencing for people that commit felonies, violent felonies with firearms. It seems like part of the agenda that's being played on the state level scene is to remove consequences for those who do illegal things with guns. At the same time, on the national scene, they're suggesting that gun industry doesn't have liability, which is ridiculous. So they're messing with the facts, and they're lying about the facts and then using that to justify some actions that they wish they could have. All right, so next up is the FPC talking about Biden's garbage from yesterday. FPC released the following statement in response to Biden's attack on the Second Amendment rights. Its administration has cemented themselves as authoritarians on the wrong side of history, tradition, and the Constitution. His proposals, announced today, are another volley of shots aimed at undermining the fundamental right to keep and bear arms and putting more people in cages for exercising their rights. While Bloomberg-funded extremists spin their ban policies as mere regulations, Joe Biden clarified today what we all knew to be true. He does indeed want to take your guns. Biden's use of incendiary terms like ghost guns has one purpose: cause undue fear and obfuscate the truth, a cheap tactic to force his policy preferences on the people. And we see through it. Firearms Policy Coalition is committed to exposing anti-gun propaganda for what it is, and we will continue to open the eyes of our nation's courts to the disingenuous strategies employed by unscrupulous lawmakers with regard to gun control and the Second Amendment. Except they're not lawmakers, but yeah. It's going to need to be said in a couple of different ways, more and more clear, but it's over. And they're now taking ridiculous steps. It's time to end it. Spent another day at the AZ Capitol. Teal for 2A, testifying to a bill strengthening the penalties for people who willfully misuse firearms and use firearms in the process of committing armed robbery. So working at the state level and the national level, the DC project. So this is interesting. I put this in here, and I'm going to uncheck it now.
We are at the Clark County Shooting Complex. This is a partnership between the Nevada Department of Wildlife in Clark County, and it's a facility that we use for a lot of our education programs, as well as it's open to the public.
We got 2 million people here in the Las Vegas Valley, and they're looking for places to shoot. So we probably have an average of about 10,000 visitors a month coming through our gates. Clark County shooting facility is 1 mile wide by 3 miles long.
I mean, it's a great place, and I'm not complaining about the facility. It is super awesome. But the NSSF is suggesting that without the excise taxes paid by manufacturers, that the Clark County complex wouldn't exist. And that might be the case. However, that doesn't mean that no shooting ranges would exist, or that no shooting ranges would exist to this level of like being deluxe. So that's fake. Talladega exists, right? And unless Talladega is also completely built on excise taxes, then I believe the industry and the competition, whatever you want to call, like part of the culture, people are willing to pay for what they're interested in. So to suggest that this couldn't happen without taxes, I'm against that concept. So I'm going to use that little chevron thingy to indicate this for the show, but then I'll uncheck it because I really don't want NSSF propaganda in my feed. And that's what I believe it is, because I don't think we need those excise taxes in order to have cool ranges. I'd like to see ranges that capitalism builds, not taxes. Let's see. So then we get another one. President Biden announces more actions to reduce gun crime and calls on Congress to fund community policing and community violence intervention. And it's like crazy, dreamy image here. So, yeah, the FPC is getting into it. I suspect they're probably going to be the most effective in the fight against this whole thing, because they're not going to be as willing to just jump up and play tetherball like the other 3-letter organizations are going to do. I thought this one was just funny. Every once in a while, Pima Air Museum makes an interesting or funny little thing here. So this is all about a email being all good to go, ready to be sent. Then it gets sent, and then you realize you forgot all your attachments. So I thought that was funny in an airplane way. Let's see. So then you got 1 million moms against gun control. There are a lot of great organizations fighting at the state and federal level. Our Second Amendment fight is at the local level, and that's where you can be most effective. So that's by Gun Owners Radio, which is San Diego Gun Owners Organization. So in other words, Southern California Gun Owners, and Gun Owners Radio is sort of an organization. What's the word? Like they organize a bunch of stuff in Southern California for pro Second Amendment. So, man, I understand the sentiment, and a lot of people would, I'm sure, agree that it's all about local and then where you could be the most effective. However, of course, that's not true. It's not the only truth. There's also national level fights and larger, and everyone can be effective on all of those. So don't limit yourself to local, but start local and stay local. But we need people in the federal fights too. So that's the aftermath when you send in Delta, and let's see, Delta attack helicopters, fighter jets, and drones. You get 13 dead, and most of that, 10 of those, 6 children and 4 women. So you get the bad guy who had a bomb and destroyed his whole family, and then 2 other people outside of his family, but 4 women and 6 children died. That's the head of Al Qaeda. So Biden is running around saying that he killed the head of Al Qaeda, or of ISIS, excuse me, the leader of ISIS last night. Did you know that? So while most people were sleeping and worrying about other things, Biden sent Delta in, and they took out the head of ISIS. So I guess now you know who the head of ISIS is, and he's dead. And then you got Gabby's picture, or Gabby's post from before that I used as an example. All right, so that's Instagram. So we'll go look over there. There's that kitten again.
I think you should treat yourself. I know.
It's stapled.
There's Santee doing a post.
Imagine having a liability in the only industry in America that is exempted from being able to sue.
So you can sit around observing and getting all upset about dummies saying dumb things, or we can put an end to it already. So it's time to put an end to it, and definitely not the time to stagger up and get ready to listen to a bunch of people blow hard, because they know how to blow hard. That's all they've ever done. I'd recommend listening to some folks who are going to change the game, and that's the time we're at right now. Let's see. Looks like the 15th is going to have a bunch of high powers. I should probably go up there and take a look at those high powers. Oh, yeah. Also, they fired everybody in the Army that didn't have the whatever. So that's another thing that happened. What is this? Violence prevention is the key to helping people from all walks of life. This short video addresses how not only to prevent deaths that occur, but even save even more of the ways people die. I don't know what that's all about. All right, so yeah, so you're going to see a lot of people freaking out by the obvious inflammatory statements said by someone whose whole career has been how to obfuscate and how to evade and how to say things at the perfect time to get people to not pay attention to what they want you to pay attention to, what they're intending you to not pay attention to. So I think the best thing to do is to realize that this is the tactic of a lost side. They've lost. Gun control is over. Expect the people on our side to finish it so we can start enjoying life without it. We don't need to contemplate or consider. It's over. It's time to end this whole thing and start living life without an NFA, without gun control. We've done it before. It's time to enjoy that life again, and encourage you to not be willing to sit around and observe anymore. The sky is fallen, or it's always fallen. Nope, the sky is still where it's always been. What's happening right now is we're seeing a side of a poker hand or a poker game from someone who doesn't have a good hand, and it's a time to call. All right, with that, we're ending it. Thanks everybody who voted. There was only 5 votes still. So that's everybody who wanted to watch that. I think we're being after corked like normal on the other side of this whole thing. You can feel free to watch whatever you want after this. If you want to jump into the after chat, we'll drop a link here. And tomorrow is Saturday. We'll have Ask Gun questions in the afternoon, and then I've invited all the Patreons to jump in. We finished editing all the pictures and stuff, or all the patches. So we'll have Patreons who did the pre-order. Let me know what patches they want, and we'll figure all that out tomorrow afternoon. So if you're interested in your part of that, feel free to jump in. Otherwise, thanks for joining. I'll be back to pick you up next week. And lots of other stuff till then, or in between now and then. I don't think there's anybody asking anything necessarily, so we'll just throw this out there again. Thanks to the people that grabbed stuff over at our store. We did get the store up and running again. All the items that are available are up there. We'll be adding more, and thanks for watching.
GearWebsites.com is your source for firearms-based playing cards and books. We also have mugs, shirts, and posters with designs that we've made live. Of course, we have patches. Every Friday is Free Patch Friday. We appreciate your support. Thank you for shopping at GearWebsites.com.
Tonight's episode, The Endangered Species.
Thank you for supporting our projects. If you'd like to buy us a cup of coffee, check out our Patreon channel.
The guys and gals at gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thank you for watching GunWebsites.com. Do 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 do.